Hi, I'm Jesús Díaz in the video about the time in the music of the series Sight Singing Theory 101 from the Do Re Mi Tutor project. Video in which we will approach the way time is measured and organized in music to start sight singing. We will explore the musical time unit, the metronome usage, the bars or measures and how to mark them, the speed of the music, the rhythm value, and finish discussing the duration of notes pending from the previous video about the sound. Stay with me.
Sol, la, sol, si, do, si, la, re, do, la, si, do.
Even though time is the context in which music develops, contrary to the customary notion, the speed of the time in the music is not universally predefined, constant, or fixed. Musical time is measured basically with a variable unit, which is the interval between the pulses we feel in almost any piece, whether it be slow, like in because the world is round, it turns me on. Or fast, like in if there's anything that you want, if there's anything I can do. We call this pulse beat. Another important difference between the common and musical time is that counting those beats is not as important as marking them with the highest possible precision, which could be attained by using a device called metronome, an accessory that generates audible pulses or ticks at regular but adjustable time periods. To get an idea of the metronome we will use in our lessons and become acquainted with the usual speed of the music, let's listen to it in several settings. This is our metronome adjusted at somewhat slow 40 beats per minute. Now a little bit faster at 80. Here even faster at 120. And now at swift 160 beats per minute. But these beats are only uniform pulses with little musical meaning, insufficient to express any musical structure, for which invariably it becomes necessary to organize them into groups of two, three, or four, that individually receive the name of bar or measure, in each of which the first beat is always considered stronger than the others, regardless of how many beats there be in the bar. About this, it is worth mentioning that modern metronomes like our own does not just mark the beats, but they also accent one tick every some number of these at user's choice to indicate the beginning of every bar. For example, let's adjust our metronome at some 80 beats per minute to listen to it while it clearly marks bars of 2 beats. Now 3, and finally 4. However, although the metronome is the ideal precision instrument to mark the beats, it is highly necessary to develop personal precision to get used to mark them manually, which is accomplished with movements of arm and hand in the following ways. Marking a 2-beat measure requires to move arm and hand downwards like this for the first beat and upwards like this for the second. In fact, as we will see, in any case the first beat is always marked downwards and the last upwards. It's amazingly simple, isn't it? But let's practice some 4 bars along with the metronome, paying attention to the higher tick of the first beat. And as long as we don't have anything to sing yet, let's just count the beats this way. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, now for a 3-beat measure, we need to indicate the second beat with a movement to the right between the first and third beat, like this. 1, 2, 3. But let's practice another 4 bars along with the metronome, noticing the accent every third tick, indicating the first beat or beginning of the measure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the 4-beat measure is marked with the second beat to the left and the third to the right, naturally sandwiched between the first and 4 beats, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's practice this one too, and notice that this time the accent is heard every 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As we can see, no big deal so far, right? Now let's see how we can name these beats and bars. Even when beats are grouped in bars, we need a more specific form of expressing the duration, for which music utilizes quite a few terms meaning different values, more formally known as rhythm values. But don't worry, we only need to know one of them to start reading music, so we will pick one and for now forget about the rest. Our starting choice will be a rhythm value known as the quarter or crotchet, and we will assign it to the beat, which simply means that every metronome stick, for now, will equate to a quarter. In this particular case, we might consider the quarter as the beat unit. In due course, we'll see a clear picture of all this. Regarding the measures or bars, the ones treated so far with 2, 3, or 4 beats have a general character, but when the beats correspond to a quarter, or in other words, the quarter is the beat unit, as the term quarter is associated with the number 4, these measures become specifically 2-4, 3-4, and 4-4 measures. Pretty simple, right? And that is why they are formally classified as simple meters. But we also need to know how fast the music is, and that is indicated by the term tempo, whose most precise form simply indicates how many beat units must be played in a minute, which also gives us a clue about how that beat unit should last in terms of ordinary time for anyone interested. For example, assuming our beat unit is the quarter, at a tempo of 60 quarters per minute, each quarter will last 1 second, like this. While at 120, half a second, like this. Lastly, we need to discuss the issue of the duration of the notes we could only hint at in the previous video. But such an issue is also pretty simple because the duration of the notes utilizes the same rhythm values I've just mentioned. And as we need only one, we'll stick to the already known quarter, which means that all of our first notes will last exactly that, 1/4, for which they will be called quarter notes. And with these simple ideas about the time in music, we are ready to explore the subject of the musical notation in the following video, in which we'll see and even hear how all of what we've discussed so far looks written. Don't miss it.